Hi everybody, we got a special Valentine's Day Poppy Cooks for you. Today we're gonna make gnudi. No, Lulu, it's not anything dirty. Fix your headband. It's pretty much, they're like gnocchi, but instead of potatoes, they're made with ricotta. So think ravioli filling without the pasta. They're so easy to make and unbelievably delicious. So let me know what you think. Thanks.
Okay, so to start, you need a large bowl, and in it you want to add 2 cups of ricotta cheese. I'm using whole milk. You can use low fat, but the whole milk really makes it better. All right, to this I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of freshly chopped basil. Gnudi are generally made with spinach, and spinach works, but I really like the freshness that you get from the basil. It really gives it a nice flavor, and so now we're just going to mix this up. Once you got it all mixed in, you want to add a cup of grated cheese. Traditionally, this just gets Parmesan, but I'm going to do a blend today. So I'm going to do a Parmesan, Asiago, and Pecorino Romano blends. Get out of there. All right. There we go. So now we're going to mix this up. So once you got that all mixed up, we're going to add our seasoning. We are going to add some fresh cracked black pepper. You can do a lot, you can do a little, or you can skip it. I'm just going to put in just enough for flavor, and then some salt. It's okay to over salt because you still have some other ingredients that you're going to be putting in here that'll definitely make it a little bit more bland. So at this point, you want to taste it. Like I said, if it's a little salty, it's okay because we still have to add the eggs and flour. And that'll definitely take away that salty factor. All right, so once you got it mixed, give it a taste. See if it needs some more. So once you got it to the flavor that you want, you're going to add 2 eggs and then mix that all together. All right, make sure you fully mix it up. Should almost look like a custard when you're done. All right. And now it's ready for the flour. So for the flour, you want to add 1/2 cup. Once you have it mixed together, if it still looks really sticky, add like a tablespoon at a time, but you don't want to add too much flour because it makes them a little bit more dense once they're cooked and very heavy, and you want these to be light and airy. So we're going to mix this up. All right, so I just finished mixing it up. It is still a little sticky, so I'm going to add, like I said, about a tablespoon of flour. Let's see if this makes it a little bit better. All right, you can see how the dough's really coming together. All right, starting to look good, but I think it needs a little bit more. All right, so let's do another tablespoon. It all depends on how wet the ricotta is. You definitely want to try to strain the excess water when you're doing it. I let mine sit in a sieve for a little bit, so I got some of the water out, but clearly I didn't get it all out. All right, so this is perfect. All right, so we're now ready to start making some gnudi. Okay, to start, you'll see I have a sheet tray here lined with some wax paper, and now I have my handy dandy little scoop. This is a number 40 scoop for you ice cream people. All right, so you're gonna scoop some out. Try to keep it as level as possible. And then we're gonna gently roll these up. And there it is. You have your first little gnudi. So cute. All right, now we're gonna do that with the rest of the dough. All right, so they're all done. Now we need to get these in the refrigerator, but before we do that, you wanna sprinkle them lightly with some flour and get it right on them. All right, you wanna coat them all just with a little bit of flour. Then you're gonna cover it and then refrigerate them for at least an hour. More would be better. You can even freeze them if you want. Because these are very delicate. You don't want them to fall apart when they're boiling. That's a whole other process that we'll get into soon. But yeah, this will help them from sticking to each other if they end up rolling around. So that's it. So we lightly coated them. Now we're going to cover them with some plastic wrap and then refrigerate them. Like I said, for at least an hour. Go for at least 2.
So while we're waiting for the gnudi to chill and set, we're gonna start making the sauce.
So in this frying pan, I have about 2 tablespoons of a good olive oil, about 4 cloves of minced garlic. You know, once that starts to brown a little bit, we're gonna add some fresh tomatoes and shredded basil. Um, I just got some basil leaves and just hacked them to pieces with my hands. This way they don't hit the knife. I feel like the knife sometimes alters the flavor of fresh basil, so that's why I just shredded this with my hands. And I used 5 tomatoes. So we're gonna throw this in. We're gonna season, and then we're gonna let this simmer for some time. Here's the salt. So we add some salt. All right, and now we're gonna let this simmer, and it's gonna be beautiful. It's already starting to crackle. Yum. Okay, so once you really have these tomatoes sizzling, you're gonna want about add a half a cup of white wine. You wanna use a dry wine. I feel like a Sauvignon Blanc works the best, but any white wine will work. Just don't use anything sweet, because that'll just make your sauce gross. All right, so now we're gonna lower the heat, and we're just gonna let this simmer for about an hour, 2 hours, as long as it takes. So I actually decided to freeze these, and they came out perfect. They're not sticky anymore, they're nice and solid, and they're gonna poach beautifully. All right, let's see how that comes out. Okay, so now we're ready to cook the gnudi. I pulled them out of the freezer, they look fantastic. The water's boiling, but I'm gonna wanna lower the water a little bit and create a swirling pool before I put them in, because these are very delicate and we want to put them in carefully, because the rest, if not, they're going to fall apart. So we're going to do, let's do 6. All right, to start. All right, essentially when they float, they're done, but since they're pretty large, we don't want to make sure they're still gummy in the center. So we want to make sure we cook them fully. All right, so let's keep the water twirling and make sure these are fully cooked. Okay, as soon as these started floating, I turned the heat back up so the water would boil again. This way the threat of them sticking together or falling apart is gone. Now we're gonna let them cook for like another 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so I boiled them for a couple extra minutes. Now we're gonna pull them out and put them right into the sauce. Oh, last one. There we go. They all stayed whole. They look beautiful. And now we're gonna top a little more sauce. Okay, so we top with a little more sauce and we add a little more Parmesan cheese. Now the moment of truth. Oh, wow, these cut like silk. Let's see how they taste. Oh, wow. It's literally like eating the inside of ravioli without the pasta. Oh my God, these are amazing. Wow, they're so good. If you make these, let me know. Let us know how they come out. Okay? Enjoy.